Unit 6. Sport. Language focus. There was, there were, was, and were. I can talk about past events. Close your book. What you can remember about the Olympic Games. What happened in these years? 1896, 1900, 1912, 1916. Take a look at these sentences. These are past events. Past events are events that happened in the past. Please note that we use was, were, or wasn't, and weren't for past events. Exercise 1. Complete the examples from the text on page 64. Then choose the correct words in the rules. Number 1.
There was an 11-hour 40 minutes match.
Number 2.
There weren't any gold medals.
Rules 1.
We use there was and there wasn't with singular nouns.
Rules 2.
We use there were and there weren't with plural nouns.
Match is singular. Gold medals is plural. Remember that there was and there were are affirmative. And there wasn't or there weren't a negative. Exercise 2. Complete the text with affirmative and negative forms of there was and there were. Number 1. Number 2.
The first marathon. 2,500 years ago, there was a war between Greece and Persia and there were a lot of battles.
Number 3.
There was a big battle in a place called Marathon, which the Greeks won.
Number 4. Number 5.
This was important news. But there wasn't any internet and there weren't any telephones.
Number 6.
So a man called Pheidippides ran to Athens with news of the battle. He ran about 41 kilometers. There weren't any good roads, so it was a difficult journey. When he arrived in Athens, he died.
Exercise 3. Complete the sentences with affirmative and negative forms of there was and there were. Use many, any, a, or, an. Number 1.
"2,500 years ago, there weren't any rich footballers."
Number 2.
There were many chariot races.
Number 3.
There was a country called Persia.
Number 4.
There wasn't a sport called skateboarding.
Number 5.
There were many messengers.
Number 6.
There weren't any iPads.
Exercise 4. Write 8 sentences about your country 100 years ago. Use the words in the box. Listen to the examples below.
There weren't many cars. There was an invasion of the country by the Japanese and British. There wasn't any internet. There were a lot of immigrants from other countries. There were some telephones. There weren't a lot of cars. There weren't any computers.
Now write your sentences. Exercise 5. Work in pairs. Compare your sentences in exercise 4. Exercise 6. Was and were. Complete the examples from the Olympics timeline text on page 64. Then complete the rule. Number 1.
Hiroshi Haketsu was a competitor.
Number 2.
It wasn't in the Olympics until 1988.
Number 3.
Golf and rugby were events for the first time.
Number 4.
Women weren't competitors until 1900.
Complete this rule.
Was and were are the past forms of is and are.
Watch the grammar animation.
Ah, look, Pip. You were a beautiful baby.
Was I a happy baby?
Yes, you were.
Was I a hungry baby?
Yes, you were.
Was I kind to my little sister?
No, you weren't.
I was hungry. I wasn't kind.
You were happy. You weren't kind.
Exercise 7. Complete the sentences using affirmative and negative forms of was and were. Number 1.
In the past, things were different.
Number 2.
Sports stars weren't richer.
Number 3.
I was younger.
Number 4.
Everest wasn't higher.
Number 5.
Transport was slower.
Number 6.
People weren't taller.
Exercise 8. Complete the sentences with was and were and your own ideas. Listen to the examples below.
I was born in Prague. When I was younger, my favorite sport was gymnastics. The number 1 song last week was Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo. My great-grandparents' names were Christina and Anthony. My favorite films last year were The Little Mermaid and Rapunzel. My favorite day last week was Saturday. When I was younger, my hobbies were playing hide-and-seek and playing with my dolls. My last meal was chicken fried rice.
Exercise 9. Use it. Work in pairs. Compare your sentences in exercise 8.